Darren Morrison again, around the country today. We got a nice breeze, warm air. It's a great day to be here. We're going to be looking at building a pond, and we're going to take you along on this adventure. Hope you enjoy. Okay, the general terrain is downhill that way. We've got a burn pile way over there, and then a burn pile over here. Those are two kind of landmarks that we're going to keep in mind. Property owner wants a pond down over yonder somewhere. We've got some soil challenges, and we'll talk about that. But all down this way is a creek, so all of this drains downhill toward the creek. So just somewhere between here and the creek, and wherever there's good dirt, you know, we're gonna stick this pond somewhere over there. All right, this is the soil challenge I was mentioning. What we've got here is sugar sand, beach sand. It's not what you want underneath your pond, because all the water will just drain out of it. It's basically just like the beach right here, and all along here under this grass is the same. So we walked back through there a little while ago, and there is some clay back there. We just got to go find it. So that's what we're going to do right now. That's pretty thick back there. I'm going to try to find a small game trail, see if we can make our way back there a little bit easier. Big old burn pile right here. Still pretty sandy. A lot of yopon, trash underbrush back here. Okay, we can go this way. It's hard to do with a camera in one hand and a shovel in the other. Still pretty sandy looking, but it's not as soft, I think, as we're transitioning back into this clay deposit back over here. Let's go this way. Still pretty loose sand back here. That's still not what you want under your pond. Let's see. game trail I was looking for. It's hard to tell from the video, but we're still kind of headed downhill. The creek is off to our, well, it's off in this direction, off to my right. Let's keep going down here. Kind of hit a dead end. I'm gonna pause the video and try to find another way. All right, I think I found a way back here without getting the chainsaws out. Thick brush. Let's go under here. Alright, the soil's getting a lot harder, but it's a lot darker and more consolidated than it was up there. It's just still regular old topsoil, but you can tell it's got some clay in it. So we're getting pretty close. Okay, I think we're getting pretty close. Stopped and looked at the GPS. This is right about where we need to be. So, I'll take y'all down to the creek and show you that in a little bit. But right around here, you know, it's looking a lot better. So you got. Let me get one more of these. You got in the soil, you can see it's getting kind of red tint to it. That's a lot of that clay just below the surface here, and it's real hard to dig, especially with one hand. So you got some pretty good moist clay just below the surface, and judging by the creek that's you know, it's probably 100 yards away. It's pretty deep. So we'll get the land clearing machine out. We'll kind of blaze a path around where the pond needs to go. Get a better look at it. And then we'll probably bring a mini excavator out here to dig some test holes just to be sure. So stay tuned. And for reference, this is headed down toward the creek. This is pretty far away from where the ponds are going to go, but just to show you, there's a lot of clay down here. So if we get in a situation where we need some clay, line the bottom of the pond. You know, if it gets to that point, we can just come down here or really anywhere along this creek and scrape some up pretty quick. This is it's soft enough right now. We could dig it with the skid steer and drive it over, or get a truck in here if we needed to. But pretty big creek, lots of clay. Okay, we've been cutting for a little while. Thought I'd stop and show you. What we're doing here right now is just kind of a quick and dirty. So we're using the ground shark to come along, knock some of these medium-sized yopons and cedars down, like you can see here. They're just all kind of laying down on the ground. And what we're gonna do tomorrow, a good one right there, big old cedar. So what we're gonna do tomorrow is we're gonna light that burn pile early in the morning, and then we're gonna come through here with the grapple and just pick all this trash up and throw it on the pile as it's burning, so we can get just get a good look at this back here. You can already start to see the lay of the land a little bit better. Near the roadway here, it's still pretty sandy. There's a couple of little drainage draws and cuts through here, which is good. It's kind of what we want, where we can find where the natural drainage is. So you can see here the dirt. We've already started to get into a little bit different dirt, even, you know, just 20-30 yards away from the sandy hill over there. So this will look a lot better once we get get all the debris picked up and burning. But that's what we've done so far. We're leaving all the big trees for right now. Once we figure out exactly where the pond is going to go, probably come through and cut down whatever we need to cut down by hand with a chainsaw, grapple those up into a burn pile, and then bring out a medium-sized dozer and bowl the pond out. Well, that's it so far. Gonna get back in the machine and cut for another hour or two, and then I guess we'll film again in the morning so y'all can see what it looks like after everything gets picked up. Well, it was going good. Had a little issue. This right track slipped off the machine, so I've already got it back on, but I figured I'd stop. I didn't think to take a video of trying to fix it, but at any rate, if you've never done this before, basically you've got these rollers. It's a triple idler roller system, so you got a roller, a groove, a roller, and then another groove, and then the track has these sets of teeth on it here, you know, that ride into keep everything all aligned as it goes around. And the sprocket comes down the middle of the track right here. So basically this whole track jumped these teeth, and these teeth were on the outside of all these wheels, which is not good. So if you catch it soon enough, like I feel like I did, you can walk them back on pretty easy. So this general process for this is a Caterpillar skid steer, but they're all pretty similar. Basically, you take this access panel off on the side of the track system, and there's a grease fitting in there that you can't see because it's covered with grease, but you loosen it and it releases all the tension in the tensioner. And then there's a couple different ways you can finagle the tracks back on once the tension is relieved in the track. But the way I did it, I took a couple of these broken Yopons, wedged them in between the teeth on the track, such that when they fed into the roller here, you know, it helped push the track away from the roller enough to where it could pop back into the groove by driving backwards. So the drive sprocket here was still on the track, which was a good thing, and it, you know, kind of fed with the help of those Yopon, fed back in, and then you had to roll it back, you know, another 8, 9, 10 feet to get all of them to jump back on. So anyway, crisis averted, you know, and it's the one time and only time a Yopon was ever good for anything, seems like. So we had an abundance to choose from all that we had just cut down here. So anyway, I'm going to tighten this whole thing back up and check the tension on, you know, this track. It's not all the way on yet, or not all the way tight yet, and go check the other one too and get back to work. Well, the work day's over. Time to refuel. Man, that looks good. See you soon. That's what I'm talking about right there. Well, we got the fires going this morning. Drank some coffee. I think it's about time to start grappling some of this debris onto those fires now that they've calmed down a little bit. All right, we got a lot of this stuff picked up. Some purpose of this wasn't to get it all looking great, you know, it was just so get it to where you could see everything. There's a lot of standing dead oak trees. I'm gonna come through with the machine here after lunch and push some of those down with the grapple. The ones that won't push, we'll probably just leave up for now. I think while we have the opportunity with the fire going, I think I am gonna cut down some of these cedar trees that are crowding these oak trees right here. A few other places. Get those in the fire while it's good and hot. We got a great bed of coals going for sure. Things gonna burn for a couple days, but It's looking pretty good. We got a pretty steady downhill grade, and like I was saying before, there's a couple little draws and cuts where you can see where water runs. I think when we get around to digging the test holes, I think it'll be back here in the back somewhat, depending on where we end up putting it. We'll probably have to clear some more, either with the machine or the dozer. But it's pretty scenic. You know, it looks a lot better without all that brush and trash, and it'll look a lot better also once we thin out these cedar trees as well. So that's where we're at. It's coming along. Well, went a little bit crazy with the cedars. Ended up cutting down about 20 of them. So it's a little bit thinner than it was before, but it'll be less work for the dozer and whoever else later, you know. So it's always good to burn a cedar whenever you get the chance. Well, this turned out pretty good. Yeah, and this is the quick and dirty version. It's not how you would normally leave it, you know, but once we figure out what the plan is here, you know, we'll come back and dress it up at the end. But some of these cedars, see, like this one, this cluster here, 3 big cedar trees growing up right underneath this post oak, stealing all that water and all those nutrients. Figured I had to get those out of there. Here's a big one that just peeled off as it broke. Left a pretty neat looking stump. I left all these stumps about 3 or 4 feet high. That way when the dozer comes in or the excavator, you know, you'll be able to see them and you won't accidentally run over them. And then also sometimes it's good to have a little leverage if you're pushing the top of the stump with a dozer blade or an excavator bucket. It helps it for it to be a few feet long, so just so it's not flush with the ground. But yeah, this we're still downhill for sure, but this part over here, it looks like it's kind of a little ridge or a peak. It's downhill on the other side of where I've cleared, and it's downhill on this side, and it's kind of flat from where the fire is over that way. So I'm kind of thinking that the pond needs to be, you know, more on this side. It looks like this is downhill both ways, and standing back over there on the other side, I think this is going to make more sense, but we'll see what it looks like. All right, I thought I'd show everybody this. So after a pretty good day's worth of work, these machines get pretty dirty. You got all kinds of trash up here that causes problems if you don't clean them off. You got sticks where there shouldn't be any sticks. You got all kinds of stuff down in here. Basically, you gotta clean this stuff out pretty much every time you stop and put fuel in it, just so it doesn't accumulate and cause mechanical problems, cut lines, pinches, those types of things. And also, one of the big issues is fire. So you see the exhaust up there, that's hot. There's a bunch of leaves and everything else. So I mean, you can tell the kind of dust conditions that these things get into. Put this up here. I bet, because of how dusty the outside of the machine is, I bet the air filter probably needs to be cleaned too. So check that out. These things are pretty good. Got a dual element. Trying to get this on video for y'all. You got dirt and all kinds of leaves. And then, yeah, that's pretty filthy. You can't see. Just pull this out. This is in the air filter. That's no good. But as you can see, the secondary filter is still pretty clean. So what I'm going to go do, get over here on the back of the trailer where you can see maybe. That is pretty filthy. Got a leaf blower on the trailer. I'm gonna turn this thing off and blow that out from the inside. You can't really see, well, maybe you can. It's still pretty clean on the inside. It's just caked on the outside. So anyway, it's part of the maintenance. You know, you stop and put fuel in the machine, kind of give it a once over, clean out debris, keep it running good so it doesn't burn down or break down. All right, anyway, thought I'd show you that. We've got the mini excavator out here. Done a lot of damage with the ground shark and the grapple. Burned probably 1,000,000 pounds of yopon. Good riddance. And like this one here, we chainsaw cut down, I don't know, probably 40 cedar trees that were going to go regardless. We just threw them on the fire while it was burning. This is a big old sandy pit. Not good for what we're trying to do with the pond, but anyway, we dug this up just a few minutes ago just to check and see what it looked like under the stump, and it's still sandy. So let me walk over here and show you. Still a bunch of sand right here. Unfortunately, where we kind of thought the pond might go in the beginning was way over there, but after cutting all the brush back and walking around some more, the drainage, there's another stump we just dug up for fun right here. The drainage tells us that the pond probably should go back here. So what we're gonna do, this is like a war zone back here right now, but we're gonna probably bring the excavator right over here, dig up these couple of small cedar stumps, and then dig a test hole right here and just see what we see. That way, if it's sandy, we can fill it back in and not destroy too many of these other trees, all the big surrounding oaks. So you might not be able to tell from the video, but right around here there's kind of a drainage swale that kind of goes off in that direction. So it's uphill that way, and it's flat to moderately uphill back this way, which creates this little swale through here, and it kind of comes down and drains off that way. So ideally the pond would be somewhere right around in here in this natural low spot. And like I said, we're gonna dig this test hole right about here, because this would be part of the pond as well. But we'll just dig it out, see what we see.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing. I want to get into it, man, you know. Moving it, doing it, you know. Can I count it off? Yeah. One thing you know. Oh, yeah. I got blues. Yeah. Boy, it's funky. Oh, yeah. Boy, they're funky. I got blues. Yeah. Boy, it's funky. Oh, yeah. Boy, they're funky. I like to pass to the past.
white and gold. I could buy a sports car, I could buy a yacht. I could even be like Fitzgerald F. Scott. Leave it to me to be the key to see the crown prince. When I'm done with him, you'll have to dust for Prince. Call me a usurper, call me a demon, call me whatever. Just know this. I got blue. I got a case of red new type of flu. One where it's funky and even groovy too. I'm feeling kinda sick, my feet start to kick. Then my hips start going that way and this. It's some sort of infection, some kind of disease. Can only be cured by moving your knees. When it's all through, there's one thing to do. Tell all your brothers about Cullah and soon. I got blues, but it's okay. I got blues.
All right. Just been digging for a few minutes. I wanted to show you guys. Looks like we're hitting what we want. So you can see the sides and that big pile over there. It's all pretty much that beach sand. And about 3 or 4 feet down, get down here, hit this different colored material, and that is solid, good clay. That's what we want right there. So probably gonna go dig another couple holes, maybe one over there closer to that drainage swale, and then maybe one over here too, kind of back the other way. See if we can get a triangulation on this clay and call it good. And after that, we'll make plans to come out here with some guys and some equipment and get this pond dug. I'm gonna have to do some more brush clearing because we're kind of on the edge of where we were trying to go, but just how it turns out, you know, you gotta put the pond where the land tells you to put the pond sometime, you know. Okay, test hole number 1. Came over here about 100 feet. Dug test hole number 2. This is kind of right in the middle of where the drainage path is. And we have similar results. So 3 or 4 feet down, it goes from beach sand like this to hard as bricks. That's a good deal. Okay, I'll put the camera down here and I'll show you. Gonna dig this next test hole similarly in the drainage path, but down here on the other side of this uphill hole that we dug first. So I'm gonna go dig it right over there, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cedar trees in the way, so I'm gonna take a break here in a second and drag these trees out of here with the tractor, just to give us some room to work in there so we don't tear up the equipment. All right.
would cry all my life till I met you, girl. It's simple, oh, you're really cruel. You never see me when I want you to. You got me going, I got you too. If you're scared, I'll come to the rescue. You know I'm falling in love, girl. I'll pick myself up in the whole world. The way you move, I'm shivering. It's a sea of love that I'm drowning in. Well, you don't know, I'll make it clear. You got someone who loves you, dear. I know you're scared, afraid of love, but I'm here to make your heart rise above. Lucy, Lucy, Lucy on my mind. Lucy, won't you choose me? Lucy on my mind. Lucy, Lucy, Lucy on my mind. Lucy, won't you choose me? Lucy on my mind. Oh, Lucy, Lucy, you got me hotter than the center of the sun. Oh, Lucy, yeah, Lucy, you got me spitting in the cool sweat. Oh, you said, Lucy, you're gonna be mine, but you know that you're not even trying. I sent you flowers just to tell you how I feel, but I still don't know if your love for me is real. I know I'm traumatizing, but when the sun is shining, I think of you. It gets my tongue tied, it gets my mind fried, it gets my eyes wide open. Now I see, so I sing. Lucy, Lucy, Lucy on my mind. Lucy, won't you choose me? Lucy on my mind. Lucy.
All right. Test hole number 3. Looks like we've done exactly the same thing 3 times in a row, which is good. At least this consistent. So we've got 3 or 4 feet of sand and what appears to be a pretty nice, hard and thick bed layer of clay. So that's one here. That's one uphill over there, and then one downhill, kind of straight back this way. You know, about that much further away. So I think we're good. Looks to be like what we need. All right, we're back out here on the pond site. It's a crisp, cool morning. We've got the dozer and the excavator out here. We're going to be working right down here today, roughing out where the pond location is going to be. I have to take out a bunch of these big oak trees, pile them up. Should be a pretty fun day. Equipment we're going to be using today, we got a Kubota KX080. It's about an 18,000 pound medium kind of mini excavator. It's got rubber tracks on it. It's pretty good for getting in you know, tight spaces in between a lot of those big oak trees. Got a 35-inch tooth bucket, and it's got a thumb on it, so we can dig up roots and manhandle some trees, and then eventually, once we get the site cleared, we'll use it to start digging down through some of that sand and into that clay, making a big hole. It's a pretty good machine. And over here we got a John Deere 450 dozer, little bitty dozer, but you know, most of what we got out here is like we talked about. We've got this beach sand type of you know, base, so it's a little grading dozer. You know, it's we'll use it to knock down trees, you know, kick things out of the way, and then scrape off about 3 or 4 feet of sand to get down to the clay. and then you know, dig with the excavator and lay the clay up around the pond dam bank. That's it. I gotta get to work now. Alright, as you can see here, this is what we want. Root ball of this oak tree down in all the sand, just like what we've seen, and it got rooted down into the clay, which is going to be the foundation of the pond itself. So it's looking good so far. Got Clint over here on the dozer, pushing the curb down. Keep working. Pile over there, pushing up some sand, spreading all that out. You can tell where the soil kind of changes. So up there it's more sandy, and down here we've already kind of cut down a little bit, getting closer to that clay layer. We're getting near the end of day 2 on the pond dig. We got a good sunset going. We had a little rain shower for about 4 hours this morning, kind of slowed things down. But day 1, you know, basically we came through and we cleared all of the trees and brush. And today has been sand day. So, as you can recall, this pond had 3 or 4 feet of beach sand on top of the bed of clay that we need. So, I'll get down here and show you. So, Skylar's in the dozer, and we've been taking turns, giving our backs a rest, but you can see down here, that's the bed of clay that we need. And then you can see how much sand is all piled up that we're scraping off. So parts of it, was maybe 5 feet. Parts of it was closer to 3 feet. But you can see now my head is about even with the tracks on that mini excavator, and I'm standing down on the bed of clay. So that's kind of grade we're dealing with here. So we'll keep working till sunset, pushing this sand out of the pond itself, out of the basin, and then tomorrow we'll finish doing what we don't finish today, and then start to bowl the pond out, dig in the middle and start spreading clay up the banks and things, so it'll hold water when it's completely full. That's about it. Just got to put the time in and move the dirt. That's where we're at.
To the very end, y'all friends gon' need some sleeping, cause I'm out to beat them again. My sound gon' wreck you, punch you, pound you, check you, crunch you, deck you. Bada boom, 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 pow. We knock you right to the ground. You hear by my sound and you know I'm around. So that's fine and dandy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've lost my mind. Yeah, the mind's on fire. Yeah. Well, I've lost my mind. Yeah. The mind's on fire. Shaking my palms sweat.
by my bedside, I think I see a glimpse of your face. I lose every single breath of every single taste. A flower blooms wild every hour in my mind. My heart skips 5 beats and then it rewinds.
Only yesterday you were sitting on my lap, you know it was all happening. Yeah, it's from heaven. Whenever you speak, my heart will dance to the rhythm of your speech. So the season's so.
Okay, here we are. Got some more work done today. Basically just wrapping up getting the rest of the sand scraped off of this pond site. I wanted to show you over here what the next phase of this thing is going to look like. So we've got another foot or so, worth of sand over here on this far bank. Skylar's working on that right now till we get down to the clay layer. But over here, got something to show you. You can see all of this right here, like where the dozer tracks are. That's all clay right there. Just, ½ inch under all this top layer of sand. It's kind of dry. It's hard to scrape up with the dozer. So what we're going to do after the majority of the sand is out of here, we've got a big thick layer of clay that looks just like this all the way underneath the pond. So we're going to start forming, cutting and defining the banks of the pond a little bit better with the dozer. And then once that's done, we'll get in this excavator here and start digging down like this, and then laying the dirt up onto the bank so we can build a continuous thick layer of clay in the bottom and along the sides of the pond. So last couple days has been a lot of dozer work. Next day or two is going to be a lot of excavator work, trimming up the edges of the pond with clay, and then really just using the dozer to kind of grade it and pack it in. And then we'll see what the lay of the bottom is once we get all the way down to the clay layer, and we'll probably also spend some time and dig out portions of the center just to make it deeper, and then we can just push that clay up and over just to get rid of it. So that's it. That's where we're at. It's starting to feel like a pond. It's hard to tell from the video, but we're standing down in the middle of it. It's going to be a pretty big one. All right, we're going to keep working.
I don't work no hours, and that's plain to see. I need more.
All right. Another day in the books. Pond is coming along great. We've got the bank pretty well defined. We've started laying up clay onto the bank and kind of squaring off the bottom of the pond. So we still have some more to do, but you can see all this over here. There's some sugar sand, just a couple inches, things that we couldn't scrape up with the dozer just because it's so fine, but we're trying to leave most of that in the bottom. Once we lay all the clay up for the bank, we'll run the dozer and excavator through the bottom, kind of even it all out, and then use the dozer to finish bowling it out and tamping all the clay down onto the bank. That's it. This is going to be a big old pond when we're done. Shouldn't be much longer. Let's go down here so you can see all the way down to the end. This end over here with the drainage and for cattle and wildlife, we're probably going to leave this end a little bit shallower so it, you know, big animals like a cow can ease on down into it if it gets low. And then the far end down there will be the deep end once we're all done. So it's coming along. I think it's going to be about an acre-ish, plus or minus.
Travel to a mountain, climb out to the top, be a magic genie, with blues in his hip hop. He said, you just waked me from my slumber. You got 3 wishes. I'm good.
Starting to look a lot like a pond. Okay, just about wrapped up with this thing. We've got the pond completely excavated. We've got the grades on the side of the banks pretty much how we want them. It's about 12 feet deep in the middle, plus or minus depending on where you're standing, which is good enough. Be a good deep pond, should hold water in the summertime, that kind of thing. What we're doing now is we're taking this surveying level and we're shooting it across the pond. So if you've never seen this before, you look through the glass here. It's like a spyglass, got a crosshair, and then your partner goes over wherever you want to shoot the level with this telescoping stick that has measurements on it, and you shoot it all the way around the bank of the pond or whatever you're interested in, you know. So we already shot it in earlier today just to get a quick reference, and this side over here was about 4 feet higher in elevation than the very far low corner over there, which is okay. We're gonna knock down that corner a little bit because it's a little too high, and we're using the skid steer here to bucket some of this excess dirt over to the that low corner. But we're probably not going to raise it all the way up. that low corner we kind of kept low because that's where the overflow drain is going to go. So we're going to put a 4-inch pipe over yonder, so it will drain the pond down slowly, away, safely away from the pond without creating a lot of erosion. And then we'll leave a small, a little minor saddle, maybe a foot different in elevation over there, such that if the pond starts to overflow in a torrential rain, or lots of rain in a month kind of thing, it will overflow that way, which is what we want. That's downhill toward the creek, and that's follows the natural grade of the land before we started excavating. There's a drainage swale that cuts through there down toward the creek, so it's looking good. Kind of in cleanup mode now, fine-tuning, just moving things around. And a lot of this, you can see, I don't know how apparent it is on the video, but there's a very large excess mound of dirt right here, and we're on the uphill side, so we need to do something with all of this. I can't leave it like that because the drainage won't be right. But what we're doing, we're going to bucket some of this over there on that low spot. That won't amount to a whole lot, but probably half of this, it's a separate project, but we're going to bucket it over onto the road on a different part of the property, basically to fill in some soft spots. This clay, when it gets packed in and gets rained on and hardens, it gets super hard as a road base, and then we're going to put some gravel on top of it later. That's kind of a side project, but while we have all this loose, good clay, we're going to run some over there, kind of patch up the road, and then the rest of it we'll just doze and scatter uphill, put a layer of this an inch or two on top of the beach sand that's already up there, so help keep some of the erosion down once it starts raining on all this. But like I said, it is looking good, and the weather's held out, which is really nice too. This pond makes that dozer look teeny tiny. When you're sitting in the dozer in the bottom of the pond, you can't see out of the pond, so let's kind of give you an idea how big it is in real life. All right, we're gonna keep working. All right. Well, we moved a bunch of dirt around after shooting the level. It was off, 3 or 4 feet over there on the low side, and it was a little bit too low, so moved a bunch of dirt around, got it a whole lot closer to being uniformly level. That corner over there in the back by that little stand of trees is still the lowest spot by design, so I don't know if you can tell here, but we got some weather blowing in. It's gonna rain for 2 or 3 days out here, so we're gonna take a break, let all this get soaked, and come back and once it's all dried up enough to work on it, and finish it up. It's looking pretty good. All right, we're back at the pond site. As you can see, we've had quite a bit of rain. We didn't have time to seed the bank or the surrounding areas with some grass before the rains came. They got about 3 solid days worth of rain out here, so there are some minor spots of erosion that we're gonna have to come back and fix probably in 2 weeks. We'll try to catch about 10 days worth of sunshine so the bank can harden back up. It's extremely soft right now. You know, it's hard to walk in a little bit. It would be a fiasco to try to get heavy equipment on this right now, but it's looking good. It's holding water. It's draining like what we thought it would. The drainage is coming from uphill that way and uphill that way. You can see some of those erosion cuts that will come back and fill in with the skid steer. So we got the shallow end of the pond down here doing what it's supposed to, and the deep end down there. It all looks pretty good. So I think we're going to end the video here, just because there's going to be a lot of time in between now and when it's 100% done. But so to recap, the only things that we have to do left, you know, we'll come back and spend an hour or two regrading some of these bank erosion cuts and filling them in, and basically just driving the skid steer over it a bunch of times to kind of compact the bank back in a little bit. We'll plant some grass, and then we have a drain pipe that we'll put down there on the engineered in low spot on that bank on that far deep end over there toward the downhill drainage. We'll stick that in at that time when we do all that, and then we'll be done. It's a pretty good project. Going to bring a lot of wildlife traffic through here for sure once it gets established and all the little critters figure out where it's at. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. I think it's going to be over an hour long, so if you made it to the end, congratulations. All right, take it easy.
Things rose to grab me. All things will never die. I was sorry with the people. No, better.